TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.
What's up, everybody? Welcome again to Talk Show Kings, streaming live on TV 1061 and on YouTube from Douglasville, Georgia. Before we get started, as usual, we want to give a quick shout to our executive producer, Mr. Felix Washington, for doing a great job every week. Also, our technical producer, Mr. Marcus Givens, for doing a great job as well.
What's up, Marcus?
What's up, guys? All right, and so we got a lot to get into today, but before we start, unfortunately, our man Doc was in a little fender bender. He's good, but he's not going to be in with us today.
Peace up, Doc. Hope you're all right.
That's right. Speedy recovery, even though probably no recovery needed. Just get in here. I'm Hassan. Pleasure to be with everybody.
And I'm also King Lundy. Thank you all for following us. Thank you all for watching us today. And thank you all for tuning in. And welcome to an amazing show that we're going to have today.
That's for sure. A very important show, I think. It's been in the news, obviously, a lot lately. The gun debates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second Amendment, if it needs to be tweaked, if it needs to be left alone. It's a lot going on, a lot of shootings, too many shootings. One is too many, but we're going to try to wrap our head around all that in this show. Just to start, I want to first say that I'm a proponent of law-abiding, responsible citizens having access to guns and protecting their families, protecting their homes, hunting if they choose to.
Right.
But also, I want to put it out there that assault rifles, to me, I think we could probably say by now, not really necessary anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there should be something changed with that.
Absolutely. I piggyback off of that. I think that an assault weapon is just for that. It's for an assault.
Right.
You know, you don't kill and shoot animals to assault them. A lot of people kill and shoot animals for game and for prey. But when you buy an assault weapon, then to me, you're just using that for an assault. And I want to just take a quick moment right now. Our hearts and our prayers, it goes out to the families in Texas, also the families in Ohio that lost loved ones because of the gun violence that we are suffering here in the United States. So we'll pause for them and just let the families know that we are here for them. We are citizens with a heart and soul, and we just like to let them know that we are thinking about them and that they are in our prayers. Go ahead, sir.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So let's get into it. I think what bothers me the most when it comes to the mass shootings that happen is that when people, their first reaction is to go to politics.
Right.
And I think a large part is because it's not their family that has gone through or is going through what's happening right now.
Okay. Yeah.
It'd be hard for me to. If something, God forbid, happened to my family, we're affected by a mass shooting, anyone died or whatever.
Right.
I'm going to say, gun law is this and gun law is that.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces, how to be compassionate towards people that are involved and whatever, just wrap my head around it. But it's like, it's always everybody just starts to take sides.
Yeah. And politics plays a major role in it because when people have no other outlet and they have no one else to blame, then politics comes to mind. And the first person that they're going to accuse is the President of the United States. Donald Trump is responsible for this, and Donald Trump is responsible for that, and he's responsible for this. But keep in mind, people, that under your Second Amendment, what protects the law of individuals to bear arms, you got to understand that this is something that has been in effect and has been in the constitutional laws for years. Nobody has tried to change it. Nobody has tried to reprimand it. So you got to understand that that Second Amendment right gives and protects individuals to have the rights to bear arms. And in our society that we're living in, the way crime has elevated, Hassan, it's almost like you have to carry a gun. Right. What used to be men would carry a gun. Now I'm seeing women with guns on their hips and in their cars to protect themselves. And so we want y'all to call in.
Yeah, and again, I'm not opposed to carrying guns.
I'm not either, right.
But I'm saying when assault rifles are used for mass killings,
right,
and it's all the mass killings are using assault rifles.
Absolutely.
Then we got that's something that shouldn't be a partisan thing. That should be a common sense thing that, hey, let's figure out how to keep this under control, because it's been too many. I don't have all the numbers for for other countries and everything like that, but people say, oh, whatever other countries have, there are no guns allowed,
right?
And there's violence that occurs there. There's stabbings and all that. They're like, you're going to ban knives?
Right.
They're trying to make it like it's a a joke about
that.
It's like,
absolutely.
You're not going to ban knives, but how many people can somebody kill with a knife in 20 seconds?
That's right.
You can't. It's not the same.
Right. So, you ever heard the fact of you cannot beat City Hall, and you cannot beat City Hall because there's too many people to beat them? Well, the same thing goes in this gun situation, especially in assault rifles and rifles of all sorts. The NRA puts billions of dollars into politicians' pocketbooks. The NRA is the National Rifle Association. They are one of the biggest campaign donation companies in the world. And if they keep on putting money in the politicians' pockets, and the politicians are voting for these type of weapons through the NRA, then the National Rifle Association is in a win-win situation. Right. And they're going to keep pushing these rifles and these guns out to the public. And it's just that they're getting in the wrong hands. Right. I think that gun control has to be stopped first by mental evaluation. If you mental evaluate a person before they get this gun, because guns are being sold to mental patients now. A lot of these killings are done by guys that had mental difficulties in their life, and they're just finding that out.
Yeah, and to me, that's a basic thing that we should. That shouldn't be an argument. You know,
absolutely.
It shouldn't be people saying, "No, anybody should be able to get a gun."
You know what I mean? No
matter what their mental history, no matter
that's
what
right.
their
You 21, you should be able to get a gun. Yeah.
Right. I mean, come on. There's got to be something that we can agree on that's a normal, basic principle. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then there's not because of and it's because of money, like you mentioned.
Absolutely.
Everything is because of money in that sense, because now, the fact that they're pumping so much money into the political parties, the Republican and Conservative Party, of course they're going to have laws in their favor.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's a shame because they don't. There's so many people like that make so much money. They don't care about these shootings. It doesn't happen to their family.
Yes, at all.
They're still making money. It's a tragedy, whatever. They say let's pray for them and they move on. And if you're
make more guns.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not directly affected by that, everybody's hardened to it. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
So it's a shame that we're.
So now when you go to the gun stores and you go to the pawn shops and you see men and women that's in there purchasing guns, and they're purchasing guns to protect themselves, but also you got to understand also that now convicted felons are able to buy handguns. As long as you're not on probation or parole and you don't have any type of criminal justification still pending, you can actually go and apply for a gun license and actually get it, being a convicted felon or a criminal.
Isn't that crazy? That's just where we are.
Absolutely, that's where we are.
There's a lot of people that say they have no problem with that.
Right.
Now, I mean, I find it hard to believe that there's a large amount of people that just they either don't care about putting their families at risk, or they don't care about what happened to other people's families.
Absolutely.
So, but it's just that part bugs me. Like normal, basic things that should happen, and we can't even agree on that.
Right.
That bothers me.
That's right. And it doesn't affect people until it's close to home, until it's in your backyard, you know, that you can realize. And I'm quite sure that if any member of the NRA, the National Rifle Association, had a death in the family, had a child killed at school, had a family member murdered, you know, because of this gun violence, I think they will look in a different direction as far as getting gun control under control. Gun control is out of control, and that's the mere reason why every time we turn on the TV, somebody's getting killed, somebody's getting murdered. Kids at the school has been killed simply because of gun winding up in the wrong person's hands. America, we got to stop that.
Yeah, for sure. And just a quick shout out to the Facebook. Thank you for y'all tuning in. Shamika, hi, how you doing?
Hey, Shamika.
Chichi Williams.
Hey, Chichi.
Alphonse, Angela Smith. And we appreciate y'all tuning in. Thanks for the comments. We're going to get to all of them. But yeah, and it's not, unfortunately, there's not going to be any big changes.
Right.
I think anytime soon because of the money involved.
Yes.
Because of everything that's already circulating out there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's people that are making movements.
Right.
And there are people that have some weight to them that are making movements. But it's going to take some time, just because people are dug in their
absolutely
in their stance already.
Now the president did make one step, and that was due to the killings in Las Vegas, when the people got killed when they was at the musical event. And what he did was he put in a law to stop gun stock. You know, you can't go to the store and just buy a gun stock anymore. You know, so he did step in, and he did do that, and he did let the people know that, hey, as president of the United States, I'm going to do something. I'm going to let the American people know that I am doing something. So he stopped gun stocks. Right. So you cannot go to the store and purchase a gun stock. And what a gun stock does, people, it gives the high-powered rifle enough power to let off at least 100 rounds, you know, as a bump stop, absolutely. To let off rounds to kill people instantaneously. Right. And we cannot have that. So the president stepped in, and he did do that. So I applaud him for that. But we need more gun control so that we can try to stop and cease these killings that's going on in America.
And real quick, Shamika White says, that's crazy, you can't vote, but you can buy a gun convicted.
Absolutely.
Chichi Williams says, you look nice, preacher.
Thank you.
I guess I got to step my game up because I didn't get nothing on that, but it's okay.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Thank you, Chichi. I'll try my best.
Alphonse Johnson says, federal law differs from state laws when it comes to felons. Felons have guns, not just legally. They're not the ones committing mass murders. All right, that's true.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem. That's always the argument, that if you, and I'm not for sure not calling to outlaw all guns, but if you outlaw certain guns, whatever, the criminals are still going to get them.
Absolutely.
And that's that's everywhere. Criminals are going to they're going to commit crimes.
Absolutely.
But that still doesn't. That's not a good enough reason to say we're not going to change anything.
Yes.
With all that's going on.
Yes.
That's still criminal. It's not like the criminals are always buying guns legally anyway.
Yes.
So they're breaking laws anyway.
And why the FBI, the CIA, and whomever, Homeland Security, to me, I feel like you're watching the wrong people. You're going to Facebook and you're watching people that you shouldn't be watching, when you should be watching the people that's committing the crimes. Because a lot of these people that have committed a crime, they were never on watch. But they're watching individuals, you know, for stuff like carrying a weapon on a plane, which is, don't get me wrong, which is very important. We cannot have anybody taking weapons on plane, but they're monitoring and watching people, and the majority of the murderers that have murdered these kids have not been under watch whatsoever. Right. It's like they're just riding on the radar.
Yeah, that's been like that, yep. And real quick, I want to touch on this comment from Angela. She said, I live in Virginia, and during the primaries, she saw ads about Hillary Clinton wanting to take away the Second Amendment. And that's the problem. People believe what they see on TV. She wants to reform, not take it away. And that's the thing. Most people that I've talked to, that I've heard, nobody wants to. I hate when people say, oh, they're going to come. They're not coming to get my guns. Nobody's trying to come and get normal guns from anybody.
Absolutely.
They're trying to reform the laws that are in place to protect for better protection.
We need guns.
For automatic.
Absolutely, we need guns. You ever heard the saying that it's better to need one and not have one than have one and not need it? I think that's how they go. Yeah, absolutely. So we need guns to protect ourselves. And thank you for the compliment. Hillary Clinton was trying to reform it, and what she was trying to do is say that, well, hey, we don't want to take away the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, but what we want to do is put things in place so that those who are bearing arms knows what to do with them and know how to do with them.
Right.
If you buy a gun, it doesn't mean that they give you a handbook with that gun to tell you how to operate it. Don't shoot this person, don't shoot that person. You know, it's inevitable. So people, American people anyway, you know, help us in the fight against gun controls. You know, if you listen to this show, follow us, give us some advice and help us to try to help ourselves and help our children.
And real quick, some guy named Doc Moore chimed in. He said it's about money. Selling guns, bullets, putting people in jail, all that generates money.
Absolutely generates money. Absolutely.
And we're going to take a break right there. We're going to get to the rest of the comments and continue this conversation. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Come back.
Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Elmer Horn with Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and we're here in one of our communities, and Sheriff Pounds is here with us. And Sheriff Pounds is very involved in his communities, and he come out. We brought out our grill and our smoker so we can come out and help cook for this community. And Sheriff Pounds himself has come out and helped cook with us, and he's here to cook and help these folks today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the programs that I call Taking My Community Back. If you don't get out there and get involved in your community, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. And the sad part about it, we losing our young men at such a pace that it's unreal. We got to come up with something that will help us with these children. Got to. So this is what I'm doing. I love it. I'm out here in the sun. It's hot, but like I said earlier, we're gonna do these until we get that gap between law enforcement and the community bridge. We're gonna bridge that gap because we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna shake hands, we're gonna find out if they got any kind of problem we can assist them with, and invite them to the sheriff's office and come to the roll call. Just come see what's going on at the office. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you, Sheriff Pounds. And like I said, this is just one of many events that we bring this grill out to help with our communities and get involved. I'm here today at one of our community outreach days with our sound truck. And our sound truck is used for just what you see. We come out to community days, we play loud music, and be able to just have a good time with it and enjoy our community. Our sheriff's office, you get to see us in a little different light. We're not always out there writing tickets or locking people up. We come out to your community day and be a part of your day and help you celebrate your community. And this is just one of the ways that we can do that, was with our sound truck. We're here today in one of our communities. We brought our ice cream truck out. A lot of people like to laugh when I say the sheriff's office owns an ice cream truck, but this is exactly what it's for, is we bring it out to our communities. We give away ice cream. We don't charge for the ice cream. The ice cream is free. And we have partners in our businesses in our community that help pay for the ice cream so that we can give it away for free. And we give it away. We go to schools. This is just one of many events that we bring our ice cream truck to. We go to the school systems. We come out to community days, block parties. We just come out and see you and help you enjoy and celebrate your community. Thank you.
Broadcast. Thank you for joining us. You're tuned in to another great and amazing show. You're looking at Talk Show Kings. I'm Minister Lundy, and I have here King.
It's on.
And also we have Robert joining us. Hey, Robert, thank you
King
for
Robert from Albany.
Albany, Georgia. You already
from
know.
where he's from.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna let you know right here in Georgia.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning back into the show. We're going to get right back into it. And we want you to understand that this show comes from the heart because of the tragedies that happen in Texas, also in Ohio. And our topic is gun control, and we're speaking about guns. Before we left, we were speaking about the Second Amendment right, the right to bear arms. King Robert, how do you feel, or could you tell the listeners, about the Second Amendment and how people are treating it as far as this gun control is concerned?
Or as far as I'm concerned, I've been hearing a lot of people talking about, they want to keep the Second Amendment strong. But what I've been hearing a lot this week is just a piece of paper, and the laws are made to take care of the people. So as far as the changes that need to be made, I hear a lot of people saying some good stuff, but we always go through this time where they talk about it right after like a mass shooting happens, but you never see anything. How far, we definitely need changes to the law. How far those changes should go, I think we need big changes. I know that's going to be hard. Like, I know you guys have been talking about the NRA and the people who are in their pocket. Like, when you got that kind of movement to go against, it's going to be hard. But there has to be a change, even in those people who getting paid by the NRA. You're going to have to stand up to the NRA. Simple as that.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think under this president that a change can happen, that a change will occur under this presidential direction?
I'm trying to be optimistic about it. I have my doubts, as I'm sure most people do. But I mean, at some point, I don't know. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt of being humans at some point. There has to be a point where you're like, all right, something is more important than the money being brought in by this. There has to be some kind of compassion for human lives.
I hear that, but I feel like that's
it's
where
hard to believe.
That's where we're going to run into the problem when we talking about feelings and emotions. Things that a normal person would feel, but you have like Donald Trump talking about calling people, an infestation, animals. He's dehumanizing people. So a person who wouldn't, and putting people in danger of these mass shootings. People are like stating his words and coming out and shooting people. So if you're going to do that to people, you're probably not going to care too much about taking money over people.
Absolutely.
And it's been going on for a long time.
And understand that because of this president administration and the things that Donald Trump has said, and we're going to touch this especially on racism. The gentleman that killed the people in Texas, they're clarifying him as a racial killing, which means that he killed them out of racism because it was Hispanic American people that got killed simply because he's listening to this president and his administration speak the way he speaks. People think now when they hear our president speak the way he speaks, they can do it.
And that's been the biggest issue with him.
Absolutely.
He's like, you can't blame him for racism, but he's empowering, as sitting in the president's seat, you're empowering all these people, and he knows what he's doing. It's not like he's oblivious to his words.
Oh, that's right.
He takes his time, and he gets up at 2:45 at night and tweets out something, whatever, how dumb it is or whatever. But he's thinking about what he's saying. But he's not just. You know what I mean?
And also when it comes to like demographics, we come to that bigger picture. Now I was looking at a study that showed from 82 to 2019, out of 114 big mass shootings that we had here in the United States, 64 of those people were white, 19 were African American, 10 were Latino.
Wow.
Now, I mean, that's a big number difference when it comes to the rest of the people. And I feel like this is a big place to go because, there's always a difference of why things are happening, sometimes depending on the race of the person.
Absolutely.
And, once we have like these white mass shooters, sometimes the thing that we hear is that, depression. We'll hear, mental illness, which, yes, those things are they can be problems, but right now in this year we have 251 mass shootings here. The next country following us has 10.
Right.
As the next highest one. So that's too big of a difference to say, because those people have people with mental issues as well.
Absolutely,
So
yes,
that
yes.
can't be it.
Yeah, mental illness doesn't just target the United States.
Exactly. Absolutely. And we listen to the news and we see that wars are going on, and not major wars, but they're fighting over in Afghanistan, they're fighting over in foreign countries. And you got to understand that we're fighting right here in our own backyard. But we're not fighting for the same thing that they're fighting for. We're fighting to keep our children alive, to keep our schools safe, to be able to walk to and from the grocery store, and our wives to walk from the libraries and be safe. So we're struggling daily with this gun control, and people all the time, they want to run behind their Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, which they have the right to bear arms, but it's how you use those arms and who's getting their hands. I said, we spoke a little earlier that no matter what, criminals are going to get their hands on guns, mental students, patients are going to get their hands on guns, even if they have to go underground to do so.
Right.
So
Sure. Yeah. And people say, just to get into what we're going to be talking about also, people say guns don't kill people.
Absolutely.
People kill
people. Kill people.
But people don't commit mass murders without those guns. So it's not like, you know what I mean? They can't, you're not going to kill 25 people in 30 seconds with a knife.
And I want to,
you know what I mean?
yeah, and like, I think that's a big thing, the type of weapons. Because it's not like people don't, you know, we're saying the gun don't kill people, the people do. But also the type of weapon that person has helps them a lot. And the big one that everybody's been talking about is the semi-automatic rifles.
Right.
Now, I'll let you know, in Orlando, the Pulse shooting, 49 people killed, 53 injured. That's semi-automatic rifle.
Right.
Sandy Hooks, 26 people. El Paso, 22. Dayton, Ohio. Now, this is interesting. He killed 9 people and injured 27 people in 32 seconds. So he was almost taken care of immediately. But it's the guns. So when they come up with, do semi-automatic rifles need to be, the laws on that need to be looked at and changed? Maybe that is killing a lot of people in a short amount of time.
And a lot of people's argument when they're talking about banning the semi-automatic rifles is that, well, responsible people, they want to use them for, even if it's for their own entertainment in their backyard. I'm like, is that more important? Is it more important for you to be entertained than try and protect, you know, innocent citizens of the country? And a lot of people think it is. They're like, that's my right. You know what I mean? And it is your right. But I mean, like, where are we gonna, like, come on?
I personally think that one of the ways that we can try to, and I do use the term try to control gun control, is stiffer sentences.
Yeah.
If they give out stiffer sentences, say like you have AR-15s in your trunk on a traffic stop. You don't have no license to carry AR-15, but you got them in your trunk for whatever reason. They pull you over. They should even let you make bond. I think you should go to trial, stand, whatever. You know, stiffer sentence, stiffer punishments, and I think that will probably ease some of it, not all of it.
And there was
absolutely.
I forget what comedian it was, not to bring comedy into it, but they said, who was it that said it? But they said they should make all bullets cost like $5,000 or something. So if you get shot, you must have did something because
you have to pay for
they
that.
saved up for that. But I mean, I don't know. Seriously, I don't know. Besides a ban on or some kind of change on assault weapons.
Absolutely.
That's the only thing that makes sense now.
I think some of the best things that can happen are simple things that, like, there's a bill that already passed in the House. Now that bill is just for background checks, because they feel like background checks wasn't having a background check for a weapon wasn't as important as background checks for everything else we do.
Right. It's unconstitutional.
Absolutely.
To have background checks.
Since
it'll be a federal thing.
And so it seems like that's the easiest one to go with, just to start off. Now I know Donald Trump was on TV recently, and he was saying that he wanted. What was it? He wanted to do this. He wanted to make a move on, making where mentally ill people couldn't have guns. But when he first came in, he reversed the law that stopped mentally ill people from getting guns.
From giving guns.
I wonder why he did that.
Absolutely.
Got nudged by a couple people or whatever.
Who made that law? Who put that law in?
Some other president.
I think that was Obama.
So
Yeah.
And that was the man. It's like he couldn't say the grass was green without them going out and spray painting blue.
Also, we want to know, guns don't kill people. People kill people. How do you feel about that statement? Guns don't kill.
It's a true statement. You need that person to grab that weapon to be able to use it. But the overall thing that I get from it is that it's not worth it. The amount of lives lost by the automatic rifle, I'm good without having it just because of the amount of lives it takes.
But say even handguns, even handguns, guns itself, they're saying that guns within itself don't kill people, but people picking up the guns, whether it's a handgun, whether it's a rifle, and they shoot it off, they're killing people. So that statement is like a statement that's been made for years to come, and it's going to still go for years. People can always use that colloquialism. Guns don't kill people, people do. Why do you think people kill people with guns?
Those are the quickest way.
Yeah. Right. And they're going to kill. Those are people that are going to.
And I heard a mass murderer say that too. Yeah. He said he was asked. Matter of fact, Whitey Bulger. Whitey Bulger was a gangster out of Boston, that worked for the mob, and they interviewed him on 60 Minutes, and they said, Whitey, why did you kill the majority of the people that you killed? You didn't stab a whole lot of them. You shot a whole lot, point blank range. He said because the statement you just made. Gun kills quicker.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And again, that's why I come back to the assault rifles. The reason you need the movement on there is because of how quick that gun kills people. Because I know with the handgun, still we can have a mass shooting and it could be horrible, but I guarantee less lives will be lost if you had to use a handgun
as opposed to an automatic weapon.
Yeah,
Right.
AR-15.
Well, when they came out with semi-automatic weapons, we just thought that was the best thing since apple pie. And I'm not a gun person.
Apple pie before or after sliced bread?
After sliced bread. Okay. I'm not a gun person myself. I do have protection. But to physically go to the store, and I'm like this. I can go to a store and just look at a gun and say, well, what type of gun is that, or what type of gun is that? I'm from the old school. When I was coming up, they had guns that they used to rob wagon coaches with. You know what I'm saying? but nothing semi-automatic.
You had the stuff to hold on.
That's another thing.
A coach wagon with. You know what I'm saying?
Just when they was writing these laws, what the guns at their time.
But nobody was talking about that.
Nobody was talking about that. Sit right there, pull in the stuff, push it down, all that when they were writing this law.
Exactly.
Today, I mean.
So now that the semi-automatic is one of the worst weapons you can buy because it's killing people at a high rate, like King Robert said. People. I mean, you kill so many people instantaneously with this one gun. You just pull the trigger and don't let off of it.
I want to get to a couple of these comments, guys.
Go ahead.
So, Chi Williams, shout out to Chi.
Hey, Chi, shout out.
The Second Amendment, starting in the latter half of the 20th century, became an object of much debate. Concerned with rising violence in society and the role firearms play in that violence, gun control advocates began to read the Second Amendment one way. Okay, that's true, because it depends on what side you're on. That's how you interpret that Second Amendment, right? James C. Johnson, what up, though, from the D? What up? I'm guessing that's Detroit. Hopefully not Dallas, because it's football season. But
yes.
Chi says also, despite the rhetoric on both sides of the issue, both historically and present, we're in a different time and era. We can't realistically rely on relic laws to aid in our issues from today. It's just not relevant. Alphonse Johnson says the government can take assault weapons off the streets. They removed the Tech 9s and Tech 22s off the streets in the earlier 2000s, but it was because the guns were mostly in black neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
So it's just the name of the guns they're taking away.
We're going to leave right now and take a quick break, but we do want you to turn back into the broadcast. You are looking at Talk Show Kings. We'll be right back.
Are you an artist, a writer of spoken word? Do you have content ready but need exposure? Get to know me. I'm Alicia, host of a new Facebook live stream show called The Flavor, where we promote local and international talent of all genres. Here are some rules and regulations to the videos that we'll be accepting. They must be radio ready, no cursing, no lewd language. You must send us contact information as well as a YouTube link to your video so we can extract it from there. Email us at 1061tv@gmail.com, and we thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Elmer Horn with Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and we're here at one of our communities, and Sheriff Pounds is here with us. And Sheriff Pounds is very involved in his communities, and he come out. We brought out our grill and our smoker so we can come out and help cook for this community. And Sheriff Pounds himself has come out and helped cook with us, and he's here to cook and help these folks today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the programs that I call taking my community back. If you don't get out there and get involved in your community, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. And the sad part about it, we losing our young men at such a pace that it's unreal. We got to come up with something that will help us with these children. Got to. So this is what I'm doing. I love it. I'm out here in the sun. It's hot, but like I said earlier, we're gonna do these until we get that gap between law enforcement and the community bridge. We're gonna bridge that gap because we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna shake hands, we're gonna find out if they got any kind of problem we can assist them with, and invite them to the sheriff's office and come to the roll call. Just come see what's going on at the office. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you, Sheriff Pounds. And like I said, this is just one of many events that we bring this grill out to help with our communities and get involved. I'm here today.
Broadcast. You're tuned in to Talk Show Kings. I'm King Lundy, sitting to my left.
It's on here.
And
Pleasure.
sitting to my right.
King Robert.
We are the Talk Show Kings, and we just want to thank you all for following us, for helping us out. We want you to continue following us and continue to comment on our show. We're going to get back into this amazing show. It's a topic that we've all heard about throughout the week, the shootings in Texas and the shootings in Ohio. Our hearts do go out to those families, but we want to talk about it. We want to spread the word and let people know that we're all in this together. We want to ask the question that should there be an assault rifle ban? Do you think the president and his administration or Congress should ban the assault rifle?
I think I've already answered it. Yeah. I think if we're going to keep having this this number of people being hurt and killed by this gun, we might have to get rid of it. But then again, there are other countries where this gun is open to buy, where they can get it, and they're not having this problem. So this might go to a deeper issue than just banning that gun.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. It's like you said, it's going to be tough to make any kind of ban.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that as well.
I think the push to getting the ban, maybe it'll be some sort of compromise in between. Like they won't accept a ban, but it'll be more regulations for that.
Absolutely.
And I think with those assault, I just don't understand your thought process if you're saying that there should be no regulations at all.
Right.
Like, how can that be? How can anybody just wake up, walk into a gun shop pissed off? I want to buy this gun. It takes 20 minutes, and they get the gun, and they go kill people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There should be a lot of regulations, but that's just my opinion. And like you said, ideally, yeah, they should ban them because there's no need for it.
Right.
But that's not going to happen. I don't think.
Absolutely.
So there has to be something in between.
Now let me ask about the I want to ask about the reasoning behind these shootings. Now, of course, with the last two in Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso. Now, definitely in El Paso because the shooter put his manifesto up online. He said a lot of the same stuff that Donald Trump said.
Absolutely.
A lot of people were talking about the rhetoric that was found in the paper.
Right.
So he's saying exactly what Donald Trump says. as us first as African American men,
Right.
but also let's say our Latino friends and everyone in the country. How do you feel right now? What kind of state of mind has the president put you in right now?
Well, he's put me in a state of mind that I don't trust him. I don't trust his words. I do not trust his administration. And as far as gun control, he's the #1 candidate that the NRA, the National Rifle Association, they gave millions to his campaign. And if you do your homework on the National Rifle Association, the majority of the politicians there are Republicans.
Yeah.
So the Republicans support the Republicans, and like Doc said earlier when he chimed in, it's all about money. It's all about money.
Of course.
One particular matter is all about money. And I'm going to piggyback on what you said, and I'll let you guys come in. I think that when we go to a car lot to get a car, sometimes you have to sit there about 3 to 4 to 5 hours. Because I have before. I've sat in a car lot, purchasing a car for about 5 hours. Why is it that you can go to a gun store, stay in the gun store, like you said, 20 minutes, and come out with a weapon that will kill at least 50 people with 2 rounds?
That's what I'm saying. And to answer your question about
Exactly.
trust and how do we feel about Trump or how he makes us feel, just think about this. Think about, and politics aside, just the person sitting in the office of United States president. Think about Obama and how he never said anything, flatly divisive, ever.
Right.
Never. Trump, all he's done has been divisive. All he's done is pointed out groups of people
Yes.
and, defame them,
Ridicule them.
countries, everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obama's never done, and I'm not, this isn't about their politics, and I'm just saying, representing the United States of America,
Yes.
one versus the other. Can you imagine if Obama said some of the stuff that he said?
Absolutely.
Just day to day, tweets, all that stuff.
And I'll say, and me, on the same topic, I just feel like he's made it a way more dangerous atmosphere for everyone. And if you're a Hispanic American, African American, just somebody who is not white right now,
Right.
you have reason to be afraid. And I feel like stuff like this or police violence against African Americans have only been made more rampant since Donald Trump's been in charge. He tells the police, when you put somebody in the car, bam, hit their head upside the door. No due process. Nobody has said that they're guilty or anything, but hit them upside the head and all this.
You got to be kidding me, from the president. That's who's saying.
Absolutely.
You got to be kidding me.
Absolutely. And you got to understand that these black kids nowadays, when the police get behind them, they are so afraid. When people say, well, put your hands on the steering wheel and do this, and you can follow all those commands and still wind up not going home that night.
Right.
Either you are killed or either you are arrested for something that they said that you did.
Exactly.
And Lord and behold, when they pull these black kids over, police are looking for something. They're looking for something because in their mindset, as this president and his administration has said over and over again, you look at black people in a different way, a different sense.
Yeah, and even when you haven't committed a crime, like you said, when you're driving, like I've gotten stopped a couple of years ago, probably for a couple of warnings or whatever, speed and whatever.
Right.
And I remember thinking, oh shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely. 20 years ago when I was a young driver, we used to be scared of cops. So now it's like everybody.
I get that feeling just walking by.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's a shame.
We saw this video a month ago.
Yeah, the one officer, he had been putting stuff on people, it seemed like for years.
Is that right?
Yeah, he had been and now they got all his footage where him dropping stuff and people bad. The one dude lost the right to see his kids because this dude, and you see his video, he's crying saying, I know I didn't put that in there.
Right.
I know I didn't have that. And this dude done set him up and took him to jail,
crazy.
Put him in this
It's
horrible
like I got to
place.
set up hidden cameras when I drive now, just in case something goes down.
Yeah, absolutely.
You almost have to before you get in. Look,
yes, you almost have to. I almost have to protect yourself.
And I know,
out here.
And I know I know we touching on the administration a little bit, but they have a big part to do when mass shootings go on and they come in. And that's one big thing. Trump went into El Paso. And, you know, they have footage of him while he's at the hospital.
They didn't want him there either.
You know, nobody wanted him there. One out of the 8 people at the hospital, none of them wanted to see him. Some because they didn't want to see anybody, and some just because they didn't like him.
Right.
But they have him in the hall talking to the doctors, and he's talking about his last trip to El Paso and how he had so many people in his stadium, and how Beto O'Rourke then had about 400 people in the parking lot. And this again talks to the humanity that man feels.
Right.
Because he's in the hospital where these people are in there getting trying to get looked at, could still die in those kind of situations. And he's talking about crowd size.
Right. It's all about him. Classic narcissist.
Absolutely. Not talking to the families, you know, as a sitting president should do. You know, go and talk to the families and let your face be seen with the families. But like King Robert said, he didn't do that.
He doesn't do. He's
basically he was campaigning. Sounds like he was campaigning.
Everything he does is grandstanding as about him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't do anything. He doesn't genuinely give a damn about anybody else's welfare. You know, how the families feel. He don't care about that. He's trying to get his name out there, talking about, like you said, the crowd sizes.
Right.
Yeah, it's all about him, man.
And the American people, we got to ask ourselves, excuse me for cutting you out, Robert, is this a president, is this an administration that we want sitting in our White House for another 4 years?
Good question. Very good question.
Is this a president
I'm not
that we want in our White House for another 4 years? Because 2020 is fast approaching us. And as American people, we got to make a decision.
And we got to
make it fast.
Think about how strong those party ties are, because when Trump was running for president in the beginning, everything was a joke. Everybody's like, all the Republicans were like, he doesn't have the seat.
He'll never win.
You know,
history.
He doesn't have the, you know, he's not ready to be president. He's not professional. He's narcissist, whatever. And then once he becomes president, everybody's sucking. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's crazy, and it's just because it's their party. Really? There's your backbone. These dudes are 60, 70 years old. I mean, the older I get, the more I try to look at big picture stuff. When did they got me by 30, 40 years, and they still, you know, groveling at this dude. Where's your pride? You know what I mean? I don't know.
That's the thing that it's going to come down to. A lot of people don't have any pride. They don't have that honor.
They want to be that bad.
They would prefer to have that money over their pride, money over their honor all the time. And another big thing that was going on during the mass shooting in Mississippi, there was they rounded up a whole bunch of immigrants. A whole bunch of Mexican immigrants they were going after at these food packaging plants. Now, they end up taking 600 people, like arresting 600 people, and you may have seen the chaos because if you were watching the news, it was a whole bunch of kids who their parents were taken while they were at school for the first day of school.
Absolutely.
Yep, and they were all over the news crying.
I saw
and
that.
You find out, one, I feel like you can... One, I know that when it comes to immigration, it's a hard place to be. It's a hard thing to work on that we need to keep on working towards. But also, this could have been done better than this. And out of those 600 Mexican people that they took, 300 of them were Americans.
Absolutely.
So that's telling me racial stuff now. Why do you grab this person?
Exactly.
And that's the reason why you look at this administration and you see that it's not, as far as Donald Trump is concerned, he could care less about the people getting killed, about gun reform, about the Second Amendment. Right now he's campaigning, and the most important thing to him is getting back in the White House. I've said this from day one, I'll say it again. Donald Trump is running the United States of America just like he ran The Apprentice. And all of us work for him, seems like it. And until we change that as a people and grow and understand politics, see, one thing about black people, and I'll say this, is they don't understand politics. And because they don't understand politics, they're not going to be too enthused to, now when Obama was running for president, and we never had a black president, but the idea of having a black president, it got black people up out the bed.
Of course.
It got older black people in the wheelchairs. You had caravans that was picking the elderly black people up, taking them to vote. after Obama came out of office, now it's like nobody cares.
Yeah.
I love Obama. We had a good 8 years with Obama, but now as American people, we still got to live. And by living, we got to make a change, and that change is going to come through the American people voting.
And you have to remember, though, we're still a small percentage of the population.
Absolutely.
So, yes, black people have to get out and vote in their best interest, whatever that is. But all the white people got to vote the right way too. Like, don't just, there's too many people voting along party lines. You could put a rabbit in there or a snail,
right?
Republican tag on it, and they'll vote for it.
It's like,
and we definitely saw that in this past election.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Put absolutely, we're going to vote for him.
I'm just wrapping my head around that it's the same Donald Trump from The Apprentice, from all these things, all the dumb stuff that he said the last 30, 40 years, and he's the president of the United States. You gotta be kidding me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what the American people voted for. They want to say that Russia had a lot to do with it, and Russia got him into office. And I can't sit here and say, well, whether they did or whether they didn't. But understand this: that you went to the polls. Russia didn't go to the polls. The American people did.
We hope they didn't go to the polls. They
kind of went to the polls.
And people, please understand that. 2020 is fast approaching us, and we are in line to select another president for our great and wonderful country. And I urge that everybody get out and do the right thing, so that we can handle this gun control.
I'm always saying everybody go out and vote. Now I will say though, on some of this stuff, with what we're talking about, black people getting involved in it, I think it's just history done taught us at certain moments that even when we get involved, you at the back of the bus.
Right.
Even when you get involved, you're dealing with a lot of stuff, so it's a hard fight. But right now, I feel like we're in a good place. We need to all come out and not even just, yes, the black vote need to be up there, but just the Democratic side of this vote needs to be up. Everybody needs to get up, get out.
We need to work as a team.
Yes.
Absolutely. If the Democrats come together, if the whites, the black, the Hispanic, whatever culture you may be, if we come together as Democrats, I think we can make a valid effort to try to vote for a Democratic president. This could run no matter whoever it be, Joe Biden, or Kamala Harris,
Bernie Sanders.
As Bernie Sanders, we just need to get out and vote on that Democratic ticket to let our votes be heard, so that we can try to do whatever part we can do while we're still here as far as these guns control, because guns are killing everybody.
And I definitely want to tag on to that unity part that you were talking about, us being unified. Even against this president, no matter what race of person you are, he has disrespected white people, black people, Hispanic people, Muslims, Asians. He has disrespected all of us. He let crimes happen in our communities, and he's okay with it as long as he can get paid from it. That's a problem for all of us, and we got to show that that's a problem.
Don't forget how he spoke about John McCain.
He disgraced John McCain.
He's a Republican conservative hero, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And nobody had, there was no it was backlash, but not from Republicans.
Absolutely.
That was just okay.
And they getting quieter and quieter.
Yeah, that was just okay.
And coming out at Elijah Cummings. Gonna call Elijah Cummings a racist.
Yeah.
Elijah Cummings had marched with Martin Luther King, got beat up on the bridge, and he's the racist.
Absolutely.
He's the racist. Okay.
Well, we know who the racist is, but we're going to stop right now. We're going to take a short break, go pay some bills. We want to thank you for tuning in. You're listening to Talk Show Kings, and we'll be right back.
One of our community outreach days with our sound truck, and our sound truck is used for just what you see. We come out to community days, we play loud music, and be able to just have a good time with it and enjoy our community. At a sheriff's office, you get to see us in a little different light. We're not always out there writing tickets or locking people up. We come out to your community day and be a part of your day and help you celebrate your community. And this is just one of the ways that we can do that, was with our sound truck. We're here today in one of our communities. We brought our ice cream truck out A lot of people like to laugh when I say the sheriff's office owns an ice cream truck, but this is exactly what it's for, is we bring it out to our communities. We give away ice cream. We don't charge for the ice cream. The ice cream is free. And we have partners in our businesses in our community that help pay for the ice cream so that we can give it away for free. And we give it away. We go to schools. This is just one of many events that we bring our ice cream truck to. We go to the school systems. We come out to community days, block parties. We just come out and see you and help you enjoy and celebrate your community. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Harry Lennox, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network.
Hi, this is Bill Duke, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network.
And thank you for tuning in. We're having an amazing show with some amazing topics. We're talking about gun control. We're talking about the Second Amendment. We spoke on different types of guns, and we're trying to find out, through the people, through our followers, how do you feel about gun control in the United States? We're at the point now where we just want to ask a simple question: and let me read it to you. Awareness, kids learning active shooter drills in school. Is your kid actively taking shooter drills in school? And if they have, what have you learned from it, and what have they came home and told you about it? Have you spoken to any of the children about the drills that they've been having in school, your children?
Yeah, like we were talking to in the break, talking about in the break, I've had a couple of my friends that have older children, and they for sure, they practice them, yeah. So they just practice,
that's a good thing.
Finding, either getting into a closet or underneath, secure places, but just the fact that has to be something that we're doing now, man. You can't even send your kid to school and feel comfortable with them, be safe in school all day.
So it's good that they do it, but it is sad. It's sad that they have to do that. I can say when I was in school, we did tornado drills, we did hurricane
drills. That's what I was just getting ready to say. We did drills like that.
Those are the kind of drill, natural disasters. Stuff that you don't have no say over. Now you have to have the kids know what they have to do when a shooter is coming to the school.
Absolutely. That's just crazy. It's sad that it has come to this where we actually have drills in school for our children to protect themselves and to protect their safety against violence that is coming so close to the school. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's necessary. Parents, if you have children in school, and I think that you should call the school to find out, do they have a safe program? If something were to happen to your children, is there an outlet? What plans do you have in means for my child's protection while they're at the school? And could I participate, in those drills so that I'll know what to do? Now, when King Robert said he was in school, they had tornado drills and fire drills. When I was in elementary school, we had a drill that if the power company cut the lights off, then we know what to do. Okay, so the drills are ridiculous now.
Every once in a while.
So the drills are ridiculous now, but they are well worth it for the protection of these children.
Yeah, you had a drill like if somebody's horse that was tied out front.
Boys, go run and get them.
Now, I will say, I think it's good that they going through this active shooter process. Again, still sad. But I was watching Sean Hannity, guy I don't really like. He's on Fox News.
He's an angry man.
Angry man. And a good friend of Trump. Now, he was saying that he felt that we should have retired police officers and retired Army officials like at the schools, one on each floor, at every mall on each floor. And then he said throw in some metal detectors, and he think everything will be a-okay.
Wow.
Now, one, that's like living in a police state.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
nobody should have to push their life to that point.
Yeah, I don't know if that would make me feel more or less safe. Because, they're just
'cause-
dudes too.
And this is becoming so normal. I don't know if anybody saw the video in New York where the car backfired and everybody in
Yeah,
Times
I did
Square
see
took
that.
off running
Okay,
because
nice.
people are
Everybody's on
afraid
edge,
here.
yeah.
Now. That's what they think that
absolutely.
in America.
Yes.
Mass shootings.
Yes.
So what,
Yeah,
how do y'all feel about that?
there's people overseas that are warning people that are traveling
Not to come here.
because of mass.
Yeah.
That's where we reached that point. You might not want to go to U.S.
Absolutely. I could
It used to
never
be like
recall
Haiti
being
or,
in that situation. Absolutely.
Just be
Absolutely.
Compton. Nah.
Yeah. But I mean, even other countries, we used to get warnings when we were young. You know, used to think about don't go to whatever.
Absolutely.
You know, what I mean, Venezuela or I don't know, Colombia.
In certain
whatever.
parts of Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah,
Now people over there saying, "Hey,
don't go
you
there."
going to U.S. What?
Yeah.
L.A. Nah, man, don't do
Nah,
that.
it's still a long line down there.
Right.
They trying to get in. Still a long line.
I cannot remember a time when that has ever happened to this country. You know, people are saying, stay away from the United States because you may get killed or you may not come home. But guess what? It has happened. A lot of people have come over here on vacation and never made it home, never made it back to their homelands because of a lot of the shootings, a lot of what's going on here in the United States.
Yeah, and I have a couple of friends that live overseas in different parts of Europe and everything, and you know, every day they encounter people that are like, "What the hell's going on over there?
Right.
Like, what? Why can't you guys get it straightened out?" And they're like, "You guys, I'm over here with you."
Right.
But it's true. It's like nobody can believe the nonsense that's going on here as far as leadership.
And so it's got to the point to where our kids have to have active shooter
followers if you can follow.
test or whatever, and Sean Hannity think we need armed guards at the malls, at the schools, and everywhere else we can get them.
Absolutely.
Definitely, if you're watching, we always love to get the messages. Let us know if you have any ideas of your own things that we could do that you feel that would make you feel a little better. I feel like the problems, they go deeper than this shooter thing. We got a 67 Caucasian males usually shooting up places. They are the ones doing a lot of these mass shootings.
You know, that's what I noticed as well.
They're finally talking about the home life of them, talking about missing fathers, which I'm like, we've had that in other communities, and it hasn't led to mass shootings.
Right.
But this is something that we got to somebody needs to get to the bottom of. Why is this happening so often?
And real quick to circle back on the voting thing, Alphonse Johnson says, "I'm renting a van and taking my community to the polls for free. Me and a good friend are working on making sure everyone is registered."
Absolutely. Let us know also, Alfonso, so that we can try to put together something and join you, or you join us, but let us know.
Yep, and Chi Williams said, "I'll help you." She said, "Power is in numbers. If we take care of our own backyard, as other racialized groups do, I believe we'll be more progressive."
Yes, absolutely.
Some countries even warning their black citizens about the police violence here before traveling to the U.S. too.
Yep,
That's another thing that people get warned about.
Yeah, about the police. And that's definitely a shame. Because hopefully any country you go to, the officials there, the police, the government, hopefully those are people you can depend on that, be there for you. And to come over here and to be afraid of them, I mean, it's turning into like a trip to a scary house.
Right, can you imagine going to a different country and before you leave, like, "Hey, man, make sure you don't get, don't get in trouble there because the cops might shoot, they might kill you."
That's what it comes to, and it revolves around one single individual, and that's President Trump and his administration.
Yeah.
We didn't have this issue when Obama was in the White House. We didn't even have this issue when Bush was when 43 was in the White House.
And the worst part is that he's empowering, like all this, all these people already felt like this.
Right.
He's just empowering more people now to speak out and act out on those things, because if he says it's okay, then
absolutely. I mean, they're doing all kind of stuff now. I see the other day on Facebook, they had a posting of this white guy in Walmart was riding a scooter around, and he hit the leg of this black guy.
Yeah.
And instead of him apologizing, he told the black guy, get out of my way, you shouldn't have been there. The black guy was like, well, you need to apologize to me. And he got in the white guy's face, the white guy pushed him and choked him, and he cocked him, the black guy cocked the white guy right in the face, almost knocked him off the scooter. And I was saying, man, it's just so crazy now, because they listening and looking at this TV and this racism, and our president is saying this and saying that, you know, and it's giving people a gut feel. I mean, just like, you'll never say what you want to say until you take a drink. Then you take a drink, you get the guts. Right. You'll say anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, you say what you want to say then. You know?
From what I understand, there's alcohol readily available in the Bible Belt. But yeah, and a lot of people, I'm surprised there hasn't been like a civil war, or I don't know if we're on the brink of one or what, but race war, civil war, whatever it is.
Yeah,
and I know we brought that up on another show, and I feel like that's a big point, because we were saying no at that point, that it wasn't a Cold War going on.
Right, absolutely.
And now it's more than a Cold War. It's hot. It's heated. It's going down. Like, there's a reason for Spanish Americans to be very afraid after what this dude did and what he put up, and with the president calling them an infestation and saying, you know, that they coming to be rapists and robbers and killers.
They're on video, and people still try to make excuses for this guy. They still support him. They still try to cover things up.
And I do want to point this out, because a lot of people, because Trump always, and Trump's been going to this too, saying that, you know, the mass shootings didn't start with him. They did not, but there has been a group, the Republican group, I'm sorry, I'm about to point out, that has been in the pocket of the NRA since before Trump was in there.
Absolutely.
And they have, they stopped legislation like every step of the way that could stop and bring some of this stuff down. And Mitch McConnell, at the head of it, will tell you he won't even bring those bills that, up to the floor. The House had a bill that passed in the House like a couple of months ago on this very issue, and now he's saying that they're going to look at it now.
Of course.
As I was saying in our last show before the last one is, the Democrats in Congress has to step up and come together. Right now they're at a bipartisan disagreement with each other, and the whole thing is because the Democrats are trying to put their ducks in a row to impeach Donald Trump. That's on the ticket right now. But if we don't pay focus on the things that are intended to pay focus, like the killings, you know, then Donald Trump being impeached is not going to bring these people's lives back. You know, and we need to focus on that instead of trying to impeach Donald Trump and having bipartisan disagreements.
I remember when I was young, before I knew that money was the answer to everything,
right?
I remember thinking, why are gun laws, why do half the people agree with them, half of them don't?
Right.
Like, I never knew why it was just along party lines that the gun laws were. It didn't make any sense. And it's still, if you think about it, doesn't make sense. But now you understand that the NRA is there, and they're not on the other side.
In the head of it,
but
absolutely.
Like before, when you're a kid and you think of it, you're like, what do you mean they don't want, you know, what do you mean half the people don't want strict gun laws and half do? It doesn't make sense when you think about it logically. But everything else comes into light, then it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, and with all the steps you have to go through to drive a car, because driving a car is dangerous and you're putting people's lives on the line. To think that you have to go through all that, the training, the driver ed and all that before you're able to do that. If you really want a gun and you really want to go hunting, you really want to protect yourself, and you are responsible, just like with driving, you will go through the steps that it takes to get that, and just get what you need.
Absolutely. And even I was in the Air Force, man, we had, you know, training, gun training, rifle training.
Right.
And it was, you know, it was a bunch of people that were, we abided by the rules. Nobody was trying to deviate. Nobody was trying to shoot nobody. And we were in a line, and people were watching you like a hawk. And you had to qualify. You had to train. You had to put the gun away certain ways, pick it up certain ways. All that to train. And that's in a controlled environment. You tell me that any clown can just pick up one of them and just do whatever they want with it?
That's what we're telling you. Absolutely. That's the United States that we live in. It has gotten. I mean, we've come a long way since the 60s.
And it's a shame that it's all about money.
Absolutely, and it's all about money. You know,
that's definitely a shame, because we need to do something for these kids, like something where they, after the shooting in Sandy Hooks, 20 4 to 6 year olds shot, and then 6 teachers.
Yeah.
Like, we have to, and like you said, like, and a lot of other people were saying, after we didn't do anything after that,
Yeah, it's like, oh,
the
shit.
chances were like,
Yeah.
dang.
Right,
And then this
right.
time it's brown kids and
absolutely.
brown families getting shot. So it seems like the chances are even further out there that something's going to happen.
Right.
But
Right.
that's why we need to change the people who we voted in.
Absolutely.
Like,
Now,
that's where it's going to come down to.
Yeah, absolutely. A question to both of you all, and maybe this will help me some to understand that out of all the alleged, and I'll use the word alleged, shooters and killers, how many of them were black that they arrested?
Well, you have a percentage though, right? But
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
have a number, you know.
I'm talking about the murders that has happened over the last year or so, last 2 years.
Oh.
How many of them have been by black men?
No mass shootings? I
Yeah.
haven't, like, over the last 2
Can I
years.
tell
I don't think
you?
there's any, yeah.
None. Not one.
Yeah.
Not one. Not one. So these guns are getting into hands of white men that can easily go into a gun store and purchase them without any credibility, probably with not even the right paperwork that is needed.
Right.
But as a black man to walk into that same gun store, you're not going to get that gun as quick as you think you are. You're going to go through some stuff for you to get that gun. You're going to have to explain why you need this gun.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think
And
that's
that's my point.
No, I'm not hearing you. And like
That's
you said, the
unfortunate.
numbers say a lot. And, you know, as, you know, just like y'all, my brothers,
Yeah.
those are our brothers too.
Absolutely.
And it's like, what's the problem? What's going on to the point where, you know, our white brothers want to go, are committing all these mass shootings? And that's really, like, when I'm saying it's something deeper that we're going to have to look into.
Yes,
We're going to
yes.
have to get to the bottom of that.
Yes.
When we see a problem in the black
Yes.
community, we see the gangs and all that, we
Yeah.
we go in as and definitely the elders, and try to help out the younger generation to see what's
Yeah.
going on with them.
Right.
And I'm hoping in that community and even in ours together, we need to find out what is going on, why are these numbers so high
Right.
with them.
And I'll say this, and I think that the reason why we don't is because it's the same reason you won't go into the black hood and try to set an example, and the reason you won't go into the black hood, the reason I won't go, is because we are afraid. You know, I'm afraid. If I go in there preaching and talking to these young guys about anything, you know, I'm putting my life in jeopardy because I never know how they may feel or what they've been through. Because these young kids have been through a lot. You know, I'll go, hey, have y'all heard about God? You know, put the guns down, do this. And they're looking at me like, man.
Yeah, this is how we get our money. or whatever.
Exactly.
This how-
When you leave here, you know, with your talking and your preaching and all of that,
Yeah.
the hood's still here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you go to wherever you live and wherever you drive, whatever you do, we still here, bro.
And see, I can understand that. And it's a
Yes.
little different because these guys aren't in the hood.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
they're at high school. They're in high school.
Yeah, I think it's
And
difficult
then
to go
it's
preach in the hood. Try to go preach in the.
I know this is like
I'll try. I went there, and I'm sorry I'm calling y'all out. I went to Monday Mills High School to preach. Me and one of the Falcons did, and the district attorney for Henry County, and a big-time lawyer out of Atlanta. We spoke at Monday Mills High School,
How
and my
familiar is
God, oh my
Where's
God,
that?
right up here on Campbellton Road, oh my God. Man,
nervous,
oh
Mister?
my God,
Nervous?
man. I had never, because I had been to high school since 80, but I had never seen nothing like it. My wife was like, man, where are we? I was like,
Put that Kevlar on top of your suit.
so you know, it's from fear. You know, I think that in brothers like ourselves, you know, educated brothers that God has blessed in many ways with many talents, you would think that we would, you know, try to go and give back, but it's hard and it can be unsafe. But if we pull together and go, like I said earlier, we pull together as a unit and go, then maybe, you know, we can get something done or get something said to somebody.
And once more, I do want to just point out, like, a lot of these shooters are middle, upper class and all that.
Absolutely.
Like, they're not in. It's weird because they're not in the worst place. They are at decent schools at times, and
they can afford these weapons.
Yeah, and they can afford the weapons.
Absolutely.
But these are, I don't know. These are like the kids that seem to be doing good but aren't, and somebody need to be looking out for those. I guess those kids that seem like they're doing fine but they're not.
Yeah, you never know what's going through their head.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You just never know. I think parents should spend more time, you know, with children, especially teenage boys, you know, and white teenage boys. A lot of the white teenage boys who are left at home playing video games, no parenting, parent leave at 6 o'clock in the morning, come back at 9 o'clock at night. You don't know what your child been doing all day. And the internet is deadly to a teenage or immature young man.
Yeah,
the internet is deadly, you know.
I think we gotta wrap with that, Minister.
Yeah. And we will do just that. Again, you know, we thank you for tuning in. We want you to continue to tune in. Continue to support Talk Show Kings. You know, we are sure we're looking for followers. We're looking for that support. We're looking for you to comment with us and just grow with the show. If you grow with the show, we'll grow with you. And, you know, we'll come to events. You support us, we'll support you. We're here every Sunday, you know, at 6:30 p.m. on TV 61 in Douglasville, Georgia. You can also catch us on Facebook and YouTube live at 6:30 every Sunday. We want to give another great shout out to our executive director, who is Felix Washington, and our technical support, as well as our camera guy, Marcus. Shout out to Marcus, but also we want to give a shout out to these wonderful and amazing Talk Show Kings.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
That's right. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate everybody tuning in.
Absolutely. And on behalf of Doc, who's not here, Doc, we hope everything work out for you. We love you, brother. You know, you take care. And until we meet at the same place this time again, I'm your host. I'm Minister Lundy, King Lundy, so to speak. And we would love to see you here again next Sunday. Another episode of Talk Show Kings.
Appreciate it.
And to my lovely wife, I love you. We out.
TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.